Good morning. This is White Raptor News Ministries. Start off this morning by giving all praise and glory to the Supreme Spirit of Truth, the Living One, the point of singularity. All things that exist because the point of singularity. The Creator is the point. All things come from one point of creation, not multiple points of creation. Three gods didn't mysteriously appear at the same time. They were created. The other gods were all created. And you have one God here that says, I am the Lord. And the Lord is Yahweh. And Yahweh says that he will not yield his glory to another or his praise to an idol. Hold on. So I'm just starting this thing, and already they just shut my microphone off. I had to go back into my settings and turn my microphone on. I don't turn my microphone off, guys. Okay. God is not a man. God is not a man. Give me a second. I am the Lord, and I will not yield my glory to another or my praise to idols. I am the Lord, that is my name. I will not yield my glory to another or my praise to idols. So here's something that I just can't seem to get Christians to connect with. The sixth day of creation. Nobody will acknowledge the sixth day of creation. Nobody shares my understanding of the 666. And 666 has to deal with the sixth day of creation. The sixth day of creation is the first six. The beast of the earth, the United Nations of the earth, according to their kinds, is the second six. Confirmed here. Now the serpent was more crafty than any beast of the earth that the serpent was more crafty than any of the United Nations, any of the destroyer of nations of the field. The Lord God, the Lord Yahweh, God Elohim, had made. You don't see no Lord Jesus here. You don't see no Jesus here. What you see is a plural, something that is used. This God is used. This Lord says you're not to place any gods beside the Lord. Sadly, as I showed you guys the other day, I'm going to keep showing it to you. God of Israel in Gematria comes to 666. And this woman here, look at this. This woman, and this what you're looking at here. I went through all these comments last night. I read them all. This Stefan jumped on her bandwagon, and they come in and they completely polluted my channel with their theology. Okay, now this woman here in her channel, let's go ahead and take a look at Anna. I mean, don't get me wrong. I mean, she really does seem like a sweet woman. I'm not lying to you. She does, even though they're completely off. But let's take a look at her channel. This is I've watched about a half dozen of her videos.
Hi, I want to give you an example of working parts.
So this is Anna here, who's polluted my. And the only reason why I'm kind of a little bit, look, Anna, okay. No, she's given her reason, okay? So I ask her about 666, and it's the same thing that I get from all Christians. If they're going to give me anything at all, they're going to tell you that that's Kabbalah and that's magic and that's sorcery, okay? That's what they're going to tell you. Christians will tell you that all day long. Well, that's a problem. You know why? Because here it says that this calls for wisdom. Let the one who has insight calculate the number of the beast, for it's the number of a man, and his number is 666. So there is a number that needs to be calculated about a man, and it's telling you that the number is 666. Why can't I get Christians to believe or to understand that this parable here has to deal with the beast, this serpent, that was more crafty than any other beast of the field that the Lord God had made? He looked down haughty. He's king over all the proud. There is a king that is haughty over all the proud. Here is what the parable is talking about. The sixth day of creation. And the beasts that are created here in Genesis 1:25, the sixth day of creation. God made the beasts of the earth according to their kinds. This is the United Nations. The beasts of the earth and the livestock are not the same. Okay? This is Satan. This is Satan and his minions. The beasts of the field are those that are at the United Nations. These are the beast nations, the Gentile nations. 2 Peter 2:12 Bible Hub. These men are like irrational animals, creatures of instinct, born to be captured and destroyed. They blaspheme in matters they do not understand, and like such creatures, they too will be destroyed. King James Bible over here, but these is natural brute beast. The natural brute beast are the beasts that are created on the sixth day of creation in Genesis 1:25, and I know this factually because they were made to be taken and destroyed, and there is no fucking beast in the wilderness that can speak other than those at the United Nations. And those at the United Nations speak evil things that they do not understand because they don't understand God, and all of you shall utterly perish. Gentile, your leaders, your ancestors, everything that you put your faith and hope in will be destroyed. It will perish. You will perish in your corruption. So, when Anna says, so when we go back and forth, Anna, between the two of us, right? Because between the two of us, I mean, I've spent a day, and I can't spend day in, day out, addressing 20, 30 freaking comments from one person, man. I'm gonna go through the comments. I'm gonna read them one time. I'm gonna roll with you and stuff. And if you don't get it, you don't get it. I ain't got time to go back and forth. I'll give you a day, and that's enough time. If people don't get it after a day, that's on you. So Anna, this morning, I already deleted it, but we'll go to her page and to her community tab, and she sends this one here to me. Breaking free at the cross. Right away, Jesus bless you. I do think you are seeking truth. Of course I am. I've never stopped seeking truth. Just because I've learned what I learned doesn't mean that I stopped seeking. It means that I'm simply sharing content with you that I've learned. The same content that I tried to share with my mother, the same content I tried to share with my brother, my sister, and everybody else. Listen, if my family doesn't allow me to talk to them about God, the pineal gland, the shape of the earth, the moon landings, politics, none of it. They can all get together and yak their brains until they're blue in the face, man, and talk about politics and all that shit. But the minute I enter a room and try to insert my theology and stuff, the whole fucking family goes sideways, man. They all go sideways. Because I'm not part of the left or the right. You got to understand that the left and the right divides America. That's what they need to do. They need to keep the population divided from one another. They divide us with religion. They divide us with population. They divide us with left and right wing. They divide us black and white. They divide us with the LGBTQ and other facets of government, all government affiliated companies, man. If they're cap letters, then they're government affiliated companies. I can't seem to get people to understand the definitions, okay? Go back to school and look at the definitions. Jesus died on the cross and gave up the ghost. A ghost is the spirit of the dead. A ghost is not the spirit of the living. There are two spirits. One is of the dead, Jesus Christ, and the other is of the living. And I'm not saying that that's Yahweh. I'm just saying that the one that is of the living is the supreme spirit of truth, the living God. So I've said to this woman in over a half dozen comments proving to her that when I do scriptures, I do them like this. I show, and she's calling what I'm doing here sorcery. All right? It's not sorcery. I'm going to prove it to you. When you add simple gematria, it comes to 60. The word comes to 60. I keep trying to teach you that the word is language, and language is the mark of the beast. Okay? The words that Jesus Christ are speaking are two-faced words. He's got a split tongue. He's got a double-edged sword that comes from his mouth. He says one thing and then he says another. Yahweh says one thing and then he says another. Yahweh says he's going to take care of the children and then he punishes you. Now, I don't know what that's all about, but it sounds to me like this plane of existence was turned over to the hands of the wicked. And why would anybody that is wicked teach you anything of the truth of this plane? The Bible says all the world will be deceived. That means that if all the world will be deceived, that means that all of us shall be deceived, if that were possible. All of us, not just some of us, all of us. So 6 plus 0 equals 6. And the word said 3 times in the parable of this right here, John 1:1 Bible Hub. Like, nobody's ever going to change me from what I've learned here, okay? This is a puzzle. This is a riddle. I have figured it out, and it's just an insult to me. In the beginning was the Word. That's the first time. And the Word, the second time, was with God. And the Word, that's the third time. 3 times that the Word is in the parable. And when you add the parable up, or the Word up, it comes to 60. And the Word said 3 times is 666. And I've told this woman, I've showed it to her, and I've typed it out to her a half dozen times. So for her to come over here and do this, and then send me this parable, in the beginning was the Word, and the Word was with God, and the Word was God. And the Word was made flesh and dwelt among us. God says that he's not a man, so how the hell could the Word be made flesh? And dwelt among us, and held his glory. Why is the word gory and glory? And the glory as the only begotten of the Father, full of grace. Well, that's a lie. That's a lie. Look, if Jesus is the Son of God, Matthew chapter 10, verse 34, that's not the one I'm looking for, but that's just as good. John chapter 10, verse 34. This is your God, man. And this is why Christians, they're deluded. They bounce back and forth. They shove the same. Look, I've been in this fight for a long time. I was raised in the Christianity, man. I know the Christian side of the story. I learned the Christian side of the story. I was raised on it all my life. And then I learned another side of the Bible. And that the other side of the Bible is this other side of the Bible that Christians don't want you to read. They don't want you to listen to. They want you to dismiss. They want you to think that the law isn't into effect. But it tells you right there, Jesus says, is it not written in your law, I have said you are gods. So if we are gods indeed, then all of us are sons of God. All of us. whether good or evil, everything on this face of this earth are sons of God. Now, is there a chosen people? According to this Bible, there is. The Israelites, the elites, the elected, but they have a hard time walking straight without a prophet. Now, the Bible's telling us that there's going to be a prophet that is raised, and that the prophet will bring everybody together. Well, then that prophet's going to have to be well protected, huh? But could a prophet be protected by the evil on this plane of existence? It could, but only one way. By the Spirit being on the prophet. It's the only way that if you're teaching this kind of content, that you have to have the Spirit on you to be protected from these people, because they're going to block you. They're going to condemn you. They're going to make you sound like a fool. And I'm not the one that's fool. I'm just showing you the scriptures. Jesus said that we're gods. I have said you're a god. Say it with me. Jesus said that we are gods. Now, are you dismissing what Jesus is saying? Yes, they are. Christians are dismissing this parable that we are gods. When did Jesus say that? Huh? He said it right here, Genesis chapter 3, verse 5, Bible Hub. Anytime you got truly, truly, Jesus says, Jesus answered, truly, truly, I tell you. This isn't coming from the Spirit. I tell you, no one can enter the kingdom of heaven unless he is born of the water and Spirit. Flesh is born of flesh, but Spirit is born of Spirit. Precept upon precept, line upon line. 1544 Corinthians, Bible Hub. It is sown a natural body. It is raised a spiritual body. The natural body is flesh. The spiritual body is spirit. One is a quickening spirit, a life-giving spirit, and the other is a living being, which is not true, because the one that's created on the sixth day of creation here is created in an image. And an image, as I've showed you, is from the unused root meaning to shade, our light in a skin suit. Don't deny it. Anybody that looks at this and listens to this and just walks through it and says that I'm misinterpreting it, you are deluded. You are out of your mind. This God that created himself in an image is a phantom, and the phantom is a ghost, and a ghost is the spirit of the dead. All right? Well, who is it? This man that's created in an image. 2 Corinthians chapter 4, verse 4, Bible Hub. Let's take a look. The God of this age, Elohim, lowercase God because they're plural, a theos, a deity, especially a supreme divinity. So a lowercase God, folks, can't be a supreme creator. It's a supreme divinity of the supreme creator. And the language is a two-speak language, and this is why you have D-I-V-I in the word divinity, because it is a divided entity of itself from the supreme creator. The supreme spirit of truth allowed a fracture to take place, which was evil, everything in harmony, everything as one, and then one that was being worshipped thought that it should be God. That's the fracture. This is the beginning of the division in the kingdom. When it says that a kingdom cannot stand divided against itself, it's speaking about this plane of existence and the spiritual plane of existence, what's taking place on the other side of the veil. So this God here is of the age, has blinded the minds. The Elohim have blinded our minds of unbelievers, so they cannot see the light of the gospel, the ghost spell, a ghost spell of the glory of Christ. The glory of Christ, who is the image. Jesus is the image. Christ is the image of God. Folks, that's like a nail in the coffin. I can't make it any easier for you. Christ is the image of God. Exodus chapter 20, verse 4, Bible Hub. You shall not make for yourself a graven image in the form of anything in heaven above, the earth below, or the waters beneath. No frickin' idols. Okay, look, I'm buffering right now. I'm so ticked off because people just will not make this fucking connection. Okay, they refuse to make the connection. This is an idol. This God that created himself in an image. I have to show you one of my older videos because they've removed especially an idol. So this God, Elohim, on the sixth day that created man in his own image is an idol. If you can't see that, if you can't acknowledge that, if you don't agree with that, like my brother just told me yesterday, you understand? I'm in a lot of pain, folks. I'm in a lot of grief, and I've learned. I'm tired of seeing videos on the internet and on these shorts. I'm tired of listening to young girls say that they don't need a man. I'm tired of these shorts that are showing men as weak, effeminate, kind of emasculated beings, man, that are having their manhood stolen from them by women spouting out at the mouth saying that they don't need any man. Let me be very clear, very, very clear for you that think like that, all right? The very freaking desk that you sit at is made from a man's hands. The computer that you're sitting and staring into, that you're shaking your ass and tits, was made from a man. The car that you drive in, a man. The electric car you drive in, a man. The ports and gas stations and everything that were created, a man. If you're going to live in this plane of existence, you need a man. A man is your protection. Women have forgot their position in the creation story. Your position in the creation story was to stay home and protect your children. Now they got you out of the house working. And the minute the woman went to work, what did she start screaming? I don't need no man. The minute you had your own income, how did you become? Haughty. You became arrogant. You became foolish. You stopped listening to the man. Eve is the one who caused the fall, not Adam. All right? That's why the woman is to be ruled by the man. The spiritual end, Adam and Eve didn't have powers one over the other. They were created one. They came together as one. If there's any kind of trinity that exists on the face of this earth, it's husband, wife, and the spirit of truth alone. That's a trinity, okay? You add a child to it, then you're adding a son, and now it's become a quadruplet. You add another one, a daughter to the mix, or a daughter into the mix, then you're talking quintuplets. All right? So the point of singularity, the supreme spirit of truth, the living one, is a God of love. And a kingdom divided against itself is the spiritual realm against the material realm. What is taking place in this plane of existence is all being taken place on the other side of of the veil. This veil, when you rearrange the words, anagram, a veil is evil. The sky above us has created an evil veil. It's a fake world. It's an illusion. Okay? This man created on the sixth day is an idol. Why do you Christians refuse to listen to that? Let me say it one more time before I shut this window down. This man on the sixth day of creation, this God that said this, let us, means that there's multiple here that are talking to one another. This isn't one God. This is 2 or 3 gods in a circle, and they're talking. Let us make man in our image. Well, you got one God that's saying you're not to worship any graven images or idols. Right here. You shall not make for yourself an idol. So the gods, the lowercase gods, on this plane of existence, us, we're the lowercase gods. Jesus said that we are gods. Say it with me. Jesus said that we are gods. When did he say it? When he came into the garden, he says, you shall not surely die. Right here. This is Jesus. This is your serpent right here. You will not surely die, the serpent said. For God knows in the day that you eat thereof, your eyes will be opened, and you will be like gods, knowing good and evil. Wait, huh? Where are you at? Jesus right here. It is written in your law, I have not said you are gods. I have said you are gods. He said we are gods in the creation story. Right here. You will not surely die, the serpent told her, for God knows that when the day you eat of it, your eye will be open, and you will be like God, knowing good and evil. It's pretty simple. It's very simple. It's very blatant. It's right in your face. There's a God that creates itself in an image, and then there is another that's saying you're not to worship any graven images. The Bible's telling us over and over and over and over and over. Maccabees chapter 3, verse 48, Bible Hub. See how slow it's moving? Yep, they're already in it. And they laid open the book of the law, the Gentile. What is a Gentile? A Gentile is anything other than an Israelite or a Hebrew. See, and this is why Christians despise me. They hate me over and over and over, man, because a Gentile is a Christian. Eat it. Christians, you are part of the beast nations. You're a beast race. If you vote, you're part of the system. If you put a man in office to rule over you, you vote for a demon to rule over you. It's that simple. Christians, if you vote for a demon to rule over you. It's that simple. As distinguished from the Jewish. Relating to any people not Jewish. And Jewish folks are not the children of God. You understand? Jews and Jewish are 2 different races. Jews are Israelites. Jewish are Gentile. Also a Mormon church, not Mormon. Okay, Gentile are heathen or pagans. Well, that kind of sucks for you guys because you worship a pagan fat man Santa Claus that comes down a chimney, and Santa Claus's anagram is Satan. And Santa Claus in Gematria comes to 666, and that ties in Jesus with Satan, 666. You guys think I'm lying? Look, man, this is why I keep the scriptures right in front of me, man. Santa Claus. And I'll be honest with you, I used to think that Santa Claus was spelt with an E. I don't know why, but I did. A Claus, that's the difference. A Claus is with an E, but a Claus is the last name for Santa. Santa Claus's number comes to 666. Jesus comes to 666. Yahweh, God of Israel, comes to 666. I'm sure, and I'm being called a sorcerer. What is the purpose of gematria? Jewish gematria is a system assigning numerical value to the Hebrew characters and using different methods of adding those values to gain insight in things such as the Tanakh, the Hebrew Bible. So when you got to understand that before language was written, everything was assigned with numbers. Numbers came before letters, and letters weren't letters. Letters were symbol. They had meaning. There was a sentence added. It was kind of like emoji. It has a letter back then was assigned as an emoji. Okay? So, and then the letters became symbols. And then for us, they taught us that the letters were sounds, and that when you put the letters together, that they form words. And that is all designed by this system. It is not sorcery what I teach. And I stand on that firm that I'm not teaching sorcery, because the parable itself is telling us that it takes wisdom and insight to calculate the number of the beast. You get a lot of windows open like this, man, that's what happens. Might have to shut some of these down. This parable calls for wisdom and insight. And there's not one minister, not a fucking one, on the face of this earth that is making this connection for you about this all taking place and tying into the sixth day of creation. This man that was created in an image on the sixth day of creation, and the man that's created in an image is Jesus fucking Christ crucified. Okay? Not Yeshua, but the white lie. You see, I asked her questions like, what color is Jesus? Do you trust in the LBGTQ&A? Do you give them a pass? Are they going to be saved? Okay. Now, according to Christians, those that perform in this abominating act, a man placing his life force, his semen, his seed, his serpent seed, inside of another man's rear end and to copulate into his feces, is a horrifying abomination. And anybody who supports them when it comes Judgment Day, standing out there in the middle of the streets holding signs and supporting this behavior, will fry right along with them. Now, people, you got to understand that when Jesus disappeared at the age of 12, where he went to, he went all over the world. He traveled the world is what he did. And this is why the Mormons have Jesus walking in the Americas. It's possible that Jesus was in the Americas. He disappeared for 18 years. Nobody knows where he went. So I'm guessing that he came to the Americans. I'm probably on board that he walked in the Americans. The whole John Smith thing and all that. Yeah, I don't know about, like I said, there's a lot of truth in all religions. All religions have a piece of the truth because all religions are broken, fragmented pieces of the truth. Okay? We are the truth, man. We are the tree of knowledge of good and evil. We know it's right or wrong. You can't walk inside of a store without looking. You're going to steal something from a store. You can't walk in there and steal something from a store and just walk in, pick it up off the fucking shelf and walk off. You have to walk in there. You're already scanning the room. You're looking to see where people are, if there's anybody there. And then you'll walk up and fucking snatch it off the shelf and stuff it underneath your thing and run out the door. Not even caring at all that you're fucking being recorded anyways for that fucking theft. This beast system has made it where these parasites, they stay in power and they mock you. They mock you in politics. The whole division of left wing, right wing is to keep us, the American people, from coming together as one. It's a fucking complete shit show. Politics is a complete shit show. And I wish you people would seriously wake up. So let's go ahead and jump in to Judges chapter 14. But before I jump out of there, there's another parable that I did have open that I wanted to look at. But I say that the things which the Christians sacrifice, because Christians are Gentile, I showed you. You hate me for it. No, this is why I show receipts. Ah, you bitch. It's going to shut down. But right here real quick, Christians distinguished from Jews. All right, I got it in there before the window closed. So the Gentile right here, okay, laid open the book of the law and search for the likeness of their idols I showed you that God that created himself in an image and an idol is Jesus, because he's the one that's created in the image of God. But I say that the things which the Gentiles sacrifice, they sacrifice to devils. Christians, you are sacrificing to a devil and not to God. And I would not have that ye should have fellowship with demons, the devils that are inside of the church, all worshiping that God, Jesus Christ, on a cross. Jesus Christ on a cross didn't even freaking die on the cross, man. Isaiah chapter 53, verse 10, Bible Hub. How could Jesus die on the cross and at the same time have offspring, children, prolong his days? That means that he didn't die on the cross if his days were prolonged, folks, because 33 years is not a prolonged life. Okay? And the good pleasures of the Lord shall prosper in Jesus' hands. So Jesus is going to prosper. Jesus lived a prolonged life. And Jesus' offspring he had. So I don't know what Bible, where you guys are getting your theology from, but it's skewed. All your theology is skewed. You know, when I teach, I start buffering, man, because I can't fathom the thought that I can break this down so heavenly, so spiritually for you, and you still deny the sixth day of creation. You still, with all your hearts, refuse to see that this God that created himself, a male and female, in an image of God, is the Christ. It's telling us that he is the Christ. Jesus is the image. It's telling you. 13:15 tells you that the second beast was permitted to breathe into the image of the first beast. We're talking about an image. An image is a phantom. An image is the light shaded by a skin suit. This plane of existence is an illusion, and you refuse to acknowledge the sixth day of creation. Christians just will not acknowledge this. It pisses me off, man. It eats at me if people come inside my room and try telling me something different when I'm 61 years old. I've read this Bible for freaking ever, man, and I'm tired of the Christian faith. I'm tired of I look to the left and somebody's smiling with the fucking cross on their neck. I look to the right and somebody's spewing fucking Jesus from their mouth. All right? You guys don't even call him the right name. He was supposed to be called Emmanuel. How the fuck did we get to Jesus? You don't answer those kinds of questions, do you? You just float over it, and you keep pushing the same frickin' stupid-ass Philippian Christians stories over and over and over. Let me be very clear about something. I know, I'm sorry, I got sidetracked, but like I said, I started buffering, and when I start buffering, man, more scriptures pop up into my head. Your writer, Paul, tells you that he's a liar. By his own words, by his own pen, by his own book. Book is written, Romans, written by Paul. And Paul is telling you, if my falsehoods accentuate God's truthfulness to increase of his glory, why am I still condemned as a sinner? Because you are a liar. Here, you don't see, in case you don't know what falsehood is, it means that you are a lie. Paul is telling you, but if my lie, the truth of God abounds to his glory, why am I also still judged as a sinner? Because Paul is a liar. Say it with me. Paul is a liar, and you guys are worshiping a liar's words. You won't acknowledge that either, will you? Huh? No, I know. I'm mistranslating what it's saying. I don't understand it. That's not what it means. In Hebrew, it means, but if my truth expounds God's glory more clearly, that's what you guys will fucking think. Why? Because we're in a world of duality. I tell you straight out, man, if I tell somebody that this means it's the truth, there'll be people out there stupid enough to believe that shit. That the lie is the truth. You people are all ass backwards, man. If anybody's always asking why I do the parables and read the chapter at the end of my videos, is because from experience, when I just jump on and I start reading scriptures to you, everybody pops in for about 30 freaking seconds and then they're gone. And it just kills my channel. You guys just don't understand that, man. If you come in my channel and you pop in for 30 seconds and then you leave, you don't smash the like button, you don't leave a fucking comment, it fucks with the algorithms, and it says to the computer that, oh, these people don't like this channel, so they don't push it in other people's threads. So you guys don't really do anything to help me if you're not smashing that like button, if you're not sharing my content. This is all part of it. If you believe in this information that I'm sharing with you, then it's your responsibility to share it. Samson's marriage, chapter 14 of Judges, says, Samson went down to Timnah and saw that there a young Philistine woman. When he returned, he said to his father and mother, I have seen a Philistine woman in Timnah. Now get her for me as my wife. Go get her for me. I'm demanding it. Is that the way? Oh, see, I'm buffering right now, man. When I hear stuff like that, like someone has the right to go get another person, man. No, that's all crooked ass stuff if you ask me. His father and mother replied, isn't there an acceptable woman among their relatives or among all our people? Must you go to the uncircumcised Philistines to get a wife? But Samson said to his father, get her for me. She's the right one for me. His parents did not know that this was from the Lord, who was seeking an occasion to confront the Philistines, for at that time they were ruling over Israel. Samson went down to Timnah together with his father and mother. As they approached the vineyard of Timnah, suddenly a young lion came roaring towards them. The Spirit of the Lord came powerfully upon him, so that he tore the lion apart with his bare hands, as he might have torn a young goat. But he told neither his father nor his mother what he had done. Then he went down and talked with the woman, and he liked her. But time later, when he went back to marry her, he turned aside to look at the lion's carcass, and in it he saw a swarm of bees and some honey. He scooped out the honey with his hand and ate as he went along. When he rejoined his parents, he gave them some, and they too ate it. But he did not tell them that he had taken the honey from the lion's carcass. Wow. Okay, I know what I'm reading right here is hidden context. I'm not reaching it. This is all new information for me. I've read the Bible before, but you don't remember all the Bible. I remember a shitload of the Bible today, though, folks, because I'm in it all the time. And when I do my lessons, I'm usually studying before what generally gets me up to do a video is somebody pisses me off, man. That's what gets me up and going. When somebody starts talking about something other than the Spirit of God. Then he went down and talked with the woman he liked. Okay, the Spirit of the Lord came powerfully upon him so that he tore the lion apart. Okay, sometime later, when he went back to marry her, he turned aside and looked at the lion's carcass, fed it to his family. Now his father went down to see the woman, and there Samson held a feast, as was customary for young men. When the people saw him, they chose 30 men to be his companions. Let me tell you a riddle. A riddle? A riddle? No, not a riddle. This Bible isn't a riddle, is it? Riddle me this and riddle me that. Somebody feed me a big fat cat. Samson said to them, If you can give me the answer within 7 days of the feast, I will give you 30 linen garments and 30 sets of clothes. If you can't tell me the answer, you must give me 30 linen garments and 30 sets of clothes. Tell us your riddle, they said. Let's hear it. He replied, out of the ether, out of the eater, something to eat, out of the strong, something sweet. For 3 days, they will not give the answer. On the fourth day, for 3 days, they could not give the answer. On the fourth day, they said to Samson's wife, coax your husband into explaining the riddle for us, or we will burn you and your father's household to death. Did you invite us here to steal our property? Wow. So we just went from tell us your riddle, that if you don't tell us what the riddle's saying, we're going to burn down your house and your property. We're going to kill you, your family. And this is the Philistines now. Maybe this is why you're not supposed to go into the towns and the cities of the Samaritans, because anytime you do, you get trampled underfoot. No, I know, but I'm just guessing at this stuff. You know, just the fact that it says that only a remnant are going to get it, and that God's children are stiff-necked people, and 2/3 of you are going to burn from lack of knowledge. But hey, you know, I don't know what's being said. Then Samson's wife threw herself on him, sobbing, you hate me. You don't really love me. You've given my people a riddle, but you haven't told me the answer. Little sly little slut is what she is, huh? I haven't even explained it to my father or mother, he replied. So why should I explain it to you? Because I'm a deceitful, lying little bitch. That's why. She cried. The whole 7 days of the feast. So on the 7th day, he finally told her, because she continued to press him. She in turn explained the riddle to her people. Before sunset on the 7th day, the men of the town said to him, what is sweeter than honey? What is stronger than a lion? Samson said to them, if you had not plowed with your heifer, you would not have solved my riddle. Then the Spirit of the Lord came powerfully upon him. He went down to Ashkelon, struck down 30 of their men, stripped them of everything, and gave their clothes to those who had explained the riddle. Burning with anger, he returned to his father's home, and Samson's wife was given to one of his companions who had attended him at the feast. So that's some pretty crazy stuff that's going on. You know, none of that story at all sounds right to me. Doesn't sound like a righteous story. I don't like the fact that people say, hey, go get this woman for me, man. I want this woman. You know, it doesn't work like that, folks. That's not love. Okay? Fixed marriages are not love. Okay? Fixed marriages are to keep power within a family, and that's what it's all about. I hope you enjoyed the lesson. All praise and glory to the Supreme Spirit of Truth, the Living One, the All, the Almighty, the All you can see, the All you cannot see, the Supreme, the Self-Existing, the Eternal, the All-Knowing. They're all omnipotent, powerful Spirit of Truth, the point of singularity, the point of creation, the Master of the universe. This is White Raptor News Ministries.